All right. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from today. Happy Cinco de Mayo. My name is Carson Heady. I'm a director for our health solutions business within Microsoft Health and Life Sciences. So great to spend some time with you all today. Talk about something that's very top of mind for all of our healthcare partners and customers right now, which is employee engagement. And so we're going to talk a little about Microsoft Viva. There's many components, some of which you already own today with your Microsoft investment. I'm going to show you some of the components around learning and training, managing OKRs, and how we all, whether we're employees or leaders, can glean valuable insights that can help us do our jobs better. Today, I'm joined by Michael Gannotti, who is one of our technical specialists in the modern work space, and Erica Gorman, who's one of our customer success managers. Super excited about this content. So grateful you joined us. The session is recorded, so if you or any of your illustrious colleagues would like to get a copy of this, it will be sent out after the session wraps. Also happy to send that to you personally. Lastly, we will also be monitoring the chat if you have any questions throughout the session. Hopefully I hit all of the key elements. Michael, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
All righty. Well, thank you, Carson. So as Carson mentioned, my name is Mike Gannotti, and I'm a Principal Technical Specialist with Microsoft's Healthcare and Life Sciences Group. I love that cup, by the way. It's a Jenna, great cup. And I'll be kicking off and taking you through. I do have a shameless plug to make. So the recording, we will be posting that and making that available. And that will be, you'll be able to find that here at https://aka.ms/HLS blog. That's aka.ms/HLS blog. That's where we put all of our public facing information, make it available. We will have a PDF of all the slides and most of the screens that you will see today on there for download, as well as the recording. So be sure to check there. We always are doing content. In fact, I did a thing just yesterday on Viva Connections with search. So without further ado, as we talk about transforming the employee experience, I have some slides to start, and then we'll kick into some demonstration as we go through both mobile and on the desktop. So hybrid work. Couple of things that we're seeing today with hybrid work, and it's an evolving landscape. So let me just say that this is, really a changing landscape as we go, as companies are evaluating, reevaluating, changing how they're approaching that. But going back to the pandemic, where we saw a large outflux of workers who were knowledge workers and others who weren't necessarily frontline or clinicians. Those ones have been coming back to mixed degrees. And a couple of things that we're seeing as trends. Number one, employees want flexible remote work options. We've seen that with some of our competitors actually making the news and people getting very irate about return to work policies. So we're seeing that there is that desire to be able to have flexibility, either 1 or 2 days a week in the office or out. And that's important because in a world where we're increasingly electronic, you're all here in the Teams meeting, and we can work remote in so many cases. If I can work from anywhere, I can work for anyone. So that becomes a real pressure on the organization. 80% of leaders are saying they're changing their plans around flexible work policies. As a result, I've had several customers of mine that we are returned to work. We are coming back in as of 4 months ago, and that's already changed. So that's a big deal. Employees say they are considering other roles or companies. Going back to what I just said, if you can work from anywhere, you can work for anyone. So there is a lot more, exodus, and we're seeing folks. We'll talk about the burnout aspects as well, but we are definitely seeing that being an impactful piece with organizations. And finally, people who are currently in a hybrid plan, a lot of them plan to go fully remote. So there is that mix. And just as an example, I've been fully remote for years. So not something new. technology's been around for many folks, certainly people who need to physically be in there. There is a need for that, but that has really, it is changing the way we are working and what we're doing here. A couple of things around that idea of flexibility, though. It's a double-edged sword. So we have seen some things adversely affecting from the pandemic, people exiting this hybrid work world, where, people are feeling burned out, because while we're flexible, if I can get to anything, anytime, anywhere, like, here's my Teams on my phone, we're going to see it on my desktop, then that sense of disconnected, of leaving the office, going home and doing things, that's less and less. So things bleed over. And so we want to help employees thrive, not get burned out. You'll have the stats. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here, but you get the idea. People are actually working more on the whole than otherwise. So as far as keeping employees happy, and then we're going to get into the meat of today's piece. Number one, employee engagement. In a world where we have some folks on premise, some folks remote, and increasingly that hybrid environment, having employees engaged so they're not sitting there out like, I work remote, but I don't feel disconnected from my work. I don't feel that I'm not a part of this larger org. So keeping them engaged, that's one of the top ways in which organizations can keep employees not only satisfied, but retained as employees. Employee satisfaction, a big part of that is around that engagement, plus some other factors we're going to look at momentarily. Retention, if they're happy, if they feel invested in, if they feel the organization is helping them with their training, their mobility within the organization, if they feel that the organization is cognizant of their stresses and acting proactively on that, that will aid in retention, and it will aid in productivity. So some couple of big areas. Do you want to mute them? So if we get feedback, just go ahead and mute, please. Along those lines, as we look to address these areas in hybrid work, Microsoft has set about to build what we're calling an employee experience platform. And the idea is that, look, for the employees that are out there, and they're not necessarily getting to walk over to the cube and say, hey, such and such, can you I can't find this, or how are you managing the following and doing things? We're not having a lot of those kind of conversations. How can we simplify the user experience? How can we remove some of those stressors that we've looked at? And as Microsoft's looked at building a platform that does that, we've come across these key areas of well-being and engagement, growth and development, purpose and alignment, culture, communications, and knowledge and expertise. And we looked at the landscape, our tools, competitor tools, partner tools, homegrown tools. We said, let's build a platform that seeks to bring all that together into a unified view. And for us, as we're looking at that, that view really is what we call Microsoft Viva, spanning across our 4 major modules today. We'll be taking a look at the other one at the tail end, but today those modules include the following. Microsoft Viva Connections. It's all about bringing the next generation intranet to employees, desktop and mobile. Viva Insights, where we look at employee productivity and insights. Can the meetings organizer set meeting to admit all? You might be able to. So Viva Insights, productivity and well-being, where we're looking at it from 3 different levels: my personal insights, manager insights into their team, and organization or leader insights into the broader org. And we're going to take a look at that. Viva Topics, which is all about pulling together knowledge management and expertise. Viva Learning, where we take the continuum of learning that takes place from teams and projects, individual learning to grow in an org, all the way up to corporate compliancy that takes place in your existing LMS today or learning management system and bringing it all together. And then we'll take a look at the tail end at objectives and key results. So those are the areas that we're going to be looking at as we move forward. And we're going to start with Viva Connections. So as I mentioned, Viva Connections is all about bringing the corporate intranet, next generation intranet to the employee. They don't have to go to it anymore. And you'll notice we do that through the common theme of all the modules. We bring it to the employee within the context of Microsoft Teams, which for Microsoft is our single pane of glass to get work done. So what are we delivering in something like Viva Connections, both out of the box to the desktop and out of the box to the mobile, like my iPhone, as we'll see in a bit? Well, we're doing a couple of things. Number one, we're delivering information that comes here to the employee where we can profile and target information based upon a user's role, geography, etc., so they get the news and information important to them. But we're also bringing things like this dashboard, which is a new component where we can target tiles, individual tiles, like this COVID checker, to an employee based upon their role or geo, right? So that they get applications pertinent to them. And then we bring all that experience that we're bringing here within the context of Microsoft Teams in a full fidelity experience, both to the desktop and to the mobile. So I'm going to click through these real quickly. I want to show you an actual example, but here we can see this individual. She's looking at the feed, her company feed of information, of news and things that are made available to her, conversations that are taking place in Yammer and Teams and others with full fidelity and engagement. So it's brought to you here on the desktop through this icon, front and center. So when Teams opens, there it is. Same here on the mobile view, just extends on mobile. And then as they scroll through, right, it's going to show there's engagement. Everything that's available on the desktop takes place on the mobile view as well. So we have full fidelity no matter where the employee is, which is important, especially for frontline workers and clinicians who may not even have access to a desktop, so that anywhere I am, I have access to the information I need that's taking place in my org and the ability to interact and engage with that. On top of that, though, we also have then those applications. They're just kind of walking through and showing them, but through the dashboard. So again, I'm getting full fidelity access, whether mobile or desktop. So I don't have to go someplace else. If I need to ask leadership a question via a Yammer community group, I can do it right here. If I need to access my COVID checker, whether desktop or mobile, right from here, I can do that. I can see my rewards, my time off. I can see other Viva applications that are being brought front and center for me. But we profile and change that information in applications based on the user. So here we have a frontline worker. They clock in. They're seeing very different applications. In fact, they're not even seeing the main feed. All they're getting here is that dashboard. So it's a very focused view for that frontline worker or clinician coming in to get specifically what they need to get their job done. And so, again, all that's provided for out of the box with Viva Connections. I'm going to quickly open up a demo area I have just to kind of show you a little bit more around that. So here you can see this is an example of what we call smarter health for our particular demo environment. And in here, I'm getting, again, that full fidelity experience. But the beauty of it is, here we have that dashboard that's there. Here's that same dashboard here. It's right on my phone, right? I don't have to go anywhere else. I can access my shifts, my assigned tasks, whatever it is they're making available and mandatory for me, right from this one location. Teams, single pane of glass to get work done. I can access any other information, applications that they're making available. I can search for content right from here. So if I come in and search, and let's say I'll just use, I already typed that yesterday, but we'll use healthcare again. Notice I can do a traditional team search, but I can also get the full intranet search right from here. So I have search in, this is Smarter Health, Viva Connections. So I'm getting that traditional SharePoint portal search that goes across the breadth of all my SharePoint content out there in my org. Or I can access other things that may pop up, like here's a person. So I did one on COVID. Notice I get even apps and other things made available. It's a very rich search for me that provides contextual search across all the areas that it recognizes here. The beauty of all of this is if you own Teams, if you own SharePoint Online, you own this already. And you can roll it out to your org today or in the next few weeks simply by going ahead and instantiating that and pinning it right up here proactively for your users so that they, as they get their Teams mobile app, their Teams client, they get it, you can get started today, and you can start with a stripped down site and iteratively add to it, but you can start giving them communications and value today. So I saw we had a quick question. Let's see, is there more advanced search features that help narrow down the results? Yeah, so absolutely. So what actually happens here, great question, that's it's a tack. So when you invoke this search here and you actually go to the SharePoint one, it's going to open up that SharePoint search page. And you're going to get all the advanced filtering functions that you get within that context and any ways that you've extended and customized that. That's all still available. Here, we're going to get you that starting point to get you going. And then from there, you can go ahead. So if I did the traditional Teams one, it would provide me, please put the link to the recording of this in the chat. It's aka.ms/HLS blog, and they can put that in. I'll put it in before we get off. But that's Connections. You probably own it already. You can instantiate it quickly and get it rolling. I have a link at the very end that will give you the setup instructions. And on the same blog we're talking about, I'll be doing a video next week on some of the ones I'm showing, including this, how to set up in a half hour or less. It's that simple. All right, that's Connections. Moving on. So we'll keep the ball rolling here. The next one is, and we're going to jump straight into demo in a second, Viva Insights. Viva Insights is all about organizational and individual health. We talked about this always on thing that happens in hybrid work and burnout and all those things that take place. Viva Insights helps you at a personal level, which if you have an E3 license and above from Microsoft, again, you can just turn this on and pin it to your app, as you'll see I have in mine here. So you can turn that on and have people starting to manage their time. We'll see how that helps. Also, though, we have the availability of it from a manager view, so they can see their team's health. This is not spyware. We anonymize data, and I'll talk about that as we show that. We also have it from an organizational or leader view to see the organizational health. So the first views that we're going to do is we're actually going to go into our demo again. And so we're going to jump, you'll notice here, again, pinned, proactively pinned. If you want users to get value out of what you own, pin it for them. And Viva, as their experience platform, provides some of the best value And you get 3 things today we're going to show you that you already probably own and can pin and take advantage of. So this one is Viva Insights, and this is my personal insights. Again, E3 and above, you own this. You just turn it on and pin it for people. So Viva Insights, seeing my personal insights. And so here you can see it's showing me a number of different things that I can do. Number one, send praise. I'll give you the ones that I actually use on a regular basis. While this is a demo environment, in mine, I have send praise. You can set it up to alert you. Every Friday at 4:30, I get an alert to send praise. So it reminds me to think back on the week, who did something way above and beyond, and let me send praise. So not only do they get it and can keep track of that, but their manager will be notified. If I send it in a team, the whole team will see it. And then during their reviews, et cetera, that's something that they can bring up and be able to quantify and show, and can be a part of that whole process. So it's providing recognition. It can be customized, but we allow you to go in, do that. You can see your own send praise, your praise history. You can view all that. And again, use that for reviews. It's a great function and a way to help others and to, maintain connections, right? When you praise somebody, makes them feel good, and you help to, keep that connection going. The other one that I use all the time, this protect time. This is called focus. Focus time, sending praises helps you too. Yes, it does. It does. It helps you keep cognizant of recognizing the value of others, which that's a whole separate topic I can talk about. That's huge. I just read about gratitude and it being one of the largest predictors of individual happiness. So that's praising, right? That's a part of that. So protect time or focus time. When I mark focus time, it allows me to truly focus. Think of how we've become hamsters on a wheel so often. Rack and stack meetings, go, 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 and not accomplishing a lot of what we may need to accomplish. Focus time lets me pull that time out, set it up, and when I focus time, and this will allow AI to help identify ones that I may want to do, like it's recommending right now, so I could say book now. When I go ahead and book focus time, it's going to go ahead and block that time to the extent that while people may be messaging me, I don't see the messaging. They're there. They'll be in my activities. I can go back later and look, but I'm not going to have the pop-ups and the interrupts on my phone, alerts and all that. It's letting me tune in. It's also going to show me as do not disturb. And if somebody goes ahead anyways and tries to call me, video chat me, or voice, they'll see the ringing and then it'll go to whatever. I don't get interrupted with that. I will see it again in my activity that somebody tried to call. So we don't lose any of that history to go back through, but I'm not going to be interrupted. I can go at my leisure during my focus time and look at activities if I so choose, right up in here. But I don't have to. I can focus and tune in, and that is hugely important when we're talking about a rack and stack virtual meeting world where it can be so often we just churn, and really it's one of the number one contributors to burnout. So being able to do that is a huge piece. Microsoft To Do, seeing your to-do tasks, that's important. And finally, staying connected. I haven't pinned anybody, so this I can't show you my personal one. But what'll happen here is as you actually collaborate and work with people, they will start to appear here because so often we make connections in meetings and other activities, but then those people fall by the wayside. And so this is a way of keeping track of that, following up with them and being able to do that. Finally, something that's in preview that we've been working on that we're getting ready to release is called the Inspiration Library. And I don't know if there's, yeah, we have a few here where you may actually publish into this for your users content that is inspirational, meant to help, help as maybe during a focus time, take a step back and look and think more strategically, get a better sense as to why we're doing what we're doing, et cetera. But you can publish a library around that and add that to it. That's the my or personal insights view, letting me look at my time. But if I go and I look at the next level, talking about managers, it's a little different. Managers are concerned about their teams because oftentimes, even though I may have the ability to control that, people may not necessarily feel empowered. And so it's important that a manager is cognizant of the stressors on the people, the things that are happening. And so being able, here's some of the views, and you can customize these. That's part of setting all this up on the manager and org, being able to see what people are doing, and what are the metrics that are important to you. But you can see here, we're seeing some of those where we see things like your group, how much are they getting one-on-one time, and we're seeing that on average per month, not even an hour a month. That's probably not good. I mean, you don't have your finger on the pulse of your team. Then you can see it compared to groups like yours, and we have best practices, and you can customize that. Again, long and large meetings, which we know people are tuning out and multitasking and doing other things. You can see, is your team caught up in all these probably non-essential meetings, right? Or are they spending more time in focused meetings that are really pertinent to getting the job done? Collaboration across silos, employee burnout. Are they spending an inordinate amount of time after hours? Because we're getting that data from here as well, right? So when they're remote and they're, even if they work on site, when they head out, are they in Teams? Are they in their email? Are they doing things that are adding to their possible burnout level? And things that you can do, and seeing best practices and things that you might want to do to assist with that. And I'll tell you, before I hit the leader one, my own team, my leader, when the pandemic hit, my manager saw that we were hamsters on a wheel. He and a colleague of his and their team, they got together and said, look, this is crazy. We need to help these folks. We need to do something to alleviate that and let them catch their breath. So they scheduled a focused time for us as teams where we were taken out of the business once a week for an hour, and we read a book, Dare to Lead, together, and then discussed that book. And so we were able to discuss things on a more strategic level, a much higher level, how we are relating to our colleagues, our customers, et cetera. Take a breath. You were not allowed to schedule customer meetings during that time. And first they, let us know, hey, this is what we're seeing. You're burning out. It looks like you might be heading to burnout. Here's one thing that we're going to do. But meanwhile, on the org level, and I'll mention that quickly in a moment, they saw similar things. So at the org level, at our leadership level, having the ability to have insight to organizational trends and metrics that are important. Things like employee well-being, again, that after hours. At our org level in the beginning, our folks communicated through, you have connections. They let us know and communicated, hey, we see and understand what people are going through right now and how you're spending an inordinate amounts of time. And we are working together in management to come up with a series of solutions. And then they took those actionable insights, which this is all about, right? With health, actionable insights, and said, look, we are now giving you 5 additional mental health days a year, and we are notifying managers they need to make sure you're taking them. They also gave us additional perks and different things to alleviate. And so things were communicated as they were seen, and then they were acted on. And just, again, things that they're looking at different metrics, best practices you might cultivate for them. But then they have the ability to work with a business analyst and create customized reports that let them drill down and see data against not only what we have here, but maybe you have Glint for surveying, and you want to bring that real data and subjective feedback and munge it together and be able to look at that. Here we're seeing, different information against percentage of employees and what they're doing around meetings and collaboration and hours. And the idea is that you can create a series of custom reports that leverage that same data to give you what you need for actionable insights to maintain the health of your org so that you retain your employees, especially those top employees. They don't get burned out, they don't exit out, and that you can be the most productive org that you can be. And this is just showing some additional. I'm going to skip on forward because I'm limited on time, and I want to make sure Eric has plenty of time for her component. But if you have questions, feel free to post them in, or you can raise your hand and we'll stop and address it. So that's insights, actionable insights for organizational and personal health. The next is Viva Topics. Oh, and again, insights, like I said, you can pin that today. Turn it on and pin it. The next area we have here is Viva Topics, which is all about harnessing the power of knowledge throughout your org, whether it be in content or subject matter experts. And it's something orgs have been trying to do for a long time, but there was a huge overhead to the initial ramp up of that, bringing that information together and consolidating and more importantly, maintaining it. What Viva Topics does is we take the power of the graph and everything that's being indexed, including external connectors where we're bringing external data in, it looks for recurring themes or topics. Based upon that, we'll build suggested pages with subject matter experts, with content related to it that can be reviewed, edited, published, and made available for users. So it's searchable, it's navigable, but more importantly, we are bringing it to the flow of work. So here we're seeing an example of something that will be released very soon, in the next few months with topics, and that is within the context of Teams itself. So here we can see some people having a conversation, and they mentioned this project called SOAR. Lots of documentation produced, so it creates a page that's been reviewed, and because that page exists now, anywhere the word SOAR is mentioned, it gets automatically underlined. So when the person mouses over, they get what's known as a topics page card with a synopsis or brief of that information. And so here I can see some people, some content, always security trimmed. You only get to see the content you have access to. But then I can click and drill into the details of that. And here it's bringing the page directly in Teams. Again, flow of work. I saw experts, files. It can be extended because the page that's created is a SharePoint page. So if you want to not only edit, but enhance it, either, on an iterative basis, here they added Q&A to there's a Yammer for this project. They have a Yammer Q&A group for the team. And so they've embedded it right here in the topics page. And because it's in the topics page as a web part, I can go right here. I don't have to go someplace separate. I can ask the question, which countries are next for it. People can then see that. They can respond to that. They can dialogue on it. I can go ahead. I can like it. All the activity I might have done elsewhere, again, keeping things simplified in the flow of work, all brought to us via topics in this case. So I'm getting that page view. I'm also getting a home view that's going to proactively push information to me based upon who I work with, the things I'm working on, the content I'm covering, and it's going to dynamically, based on AI, suggest content and people and information that's probably important for me in my job. And then lastly, if I'm managing any topics, I can see them all in one spot and work with them, all brought within the flow of work. And again, you can navigate to it as well. It creates a SharePoint site, so very familiar for people. You can also search on that content, and it's all going to appear. That's Viva Topics. The last of my modules is Viva Learning. And again, this is one of those today that you could turn on for your users today. It takes about 15 minutes. And I'm going to show you where and how in just a moment. So, and then you can pin it for them. So Viva Learning is all about providing a single place to get the learning you need. Comes in two flavors. One is what we call freemium or seeded, that if you got Teams and 365, you own the freemium or seeded. And with that, when you turn it on, you can get all of Microsoft Learn content in one spot. You can get all of Microsoft's 365 training in one spot. You can get the top 125 LinkedIn Learning free courses in that same spot. And you have the ability to customize content by using SharePoint and identifying a SharePoint repositories and having that content like videos you may do, documents you're producing, whatever, PDFs, and having those in that and publishing them up into SharePoint and having them show up in Learning. That's the freemium that you could turn on today and pin it. And I'll show you how in just a moment. The other, the paid version, once you have the freemium, if you decide, hey, we want the full breadth, it then encompasses the total of all your learning, bringing it all learning into one spot. So you can add your corporate LMS, your learning management system. You can add in your systems around, third-party repositories like ChorusWorks and others, or Pluralsoft that you may have purchased, those libraries of content, edX, et cetera, that you want to bring in. Your LinkedIn Learning. If you own LinkedIn Learning, by the way, with the freemium, if you already own LinkedIn Learning, you'll see all that in that same one spot and also in the paid. But it's all about bringing that all together. And I'm going to go, first of all, here to that user experience. So here you can see, here's my learning. And it thinks I'm a doctor here. But you can see here, we have welcome to Viva Learning. Welcome back, Dr. Mike. I'm able to come in here, first of all, and pick interests so that it can suggest content to me. So I can come in and say, hey, I want to look at creativity, leadership, negotiation, diversity, inclusion, collaboration, see more. I can come here and pick others, brand, business strategy, whatever, computer skills, communication. I'll just say save. Boom. So based on your saved interest, it's now suggesting content to me. I can search here. I can browse. I can look at my learning if any content's been assigned to me. None has in this instance because this is just my demo environment. But I can come here. I can start to browse courses below. So notice I can see content here. This is based off of my interest. Maybe I want to look at providers. So here I can see Epic and Cerner training, right? That's being provided as a course here via custom content here in Smarter Health. If you're rolling out Epic or some other, your ERP, CRM, whatever kind of big systems you're rolling out, you can have custom content here. I can even look based on duration, how I'm going to browse content to take a look at that. So 10 to 45 minutes, want to get some quick learning. That's all available. And again, I'll do providers here, scroll down. So here we see LinkedIn, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Learn. Any content we're pulling up, you can push here, but we can also search. So maybe I want to see, let's say Viva. So here, when I search on Viva, I can see, oh, hey, there's some Viva training. This is coming from LinkedIn Learning. So I can go ahead and say, I want to click that. Then I have some options with any content I see. I want to go ahead, I can open it in LinkedIn Learning. I can share it. I can bookmark it to come back to later under My Learning. It'll consolidate that. I can, we have other things on rating it. I can see more information about it, or I can just click Start the Course. And, oh, come on, really? And my demo environment's it's gonna kill me today. So I was just in this earlier. No, don't ask me again. So you can play it in there. I would pull up my own and do it, but I can't show you that. But at any rate, you're able to play in context. Can manager see answers on how I'm feeling? If you set that up, yes. So that's a great question. Not you individually, your team holistically. So we anonymize individuals. They can see the team, not individuals. Anonymization. So they'll see the team's overall feelings around that. That's all on the back end, and I'll have directions at the end on how to set that up. So that's from the Viva Learning from an experience piece right here. I do want to highlight just very quickly before I get ready to turn this over that you can turn a couple of these on very quick. So first of all, if you are or know your tenant admin, come to settings in the admin center, go to org settings. And it's going to show the ones, I'm not an admin here. Let me quickly pull up one different one. I'll pull up this demo. Here we go. Here. I am not a full admin in that center. I apologize. So we'll click. This one I am. Here we go. Settings, org settings. And here you see all the different services. So you can see as I scroll through, we have some things like there's Viva Insights. That's where you would come here to your question. This is where you'd set up the personal. There's a separate link. It's at the end of this deck on setup, and it has information into that. But here's where I'd set up my insights here. I also can come down, though, right down here and go to Viva Learning. And again, I'm going to see what's available to me if it's free or if it's the licensed version. In this case, it's licensed to look at all these things with a click and just adding the login information that I have access to, like Josh Burson Academy, LinkedIn Learning, Open Sesame, Pluralsight, Sabasoft. We have SharePoint content, Skillsoft. There's a whole Udemy, a whole range of content. There's Cornerstone, Edcast, Success Factors in here. If you don't have all these, if it's the freemium, then what you would see would be the Microsoft Learn, LinkedIn 365 training, and the SharePoint. For free, you could turn that on today. And in both cases, when you're ready, once you've turned those on, it's a simple matter of coming out here to Teams. And coming out to the Teams admin, here we go. And coming to Teams apps, setup policies, go into your global org settings once those are turned on, as well as connections. And for pinned apps, you click Add an App, select that application, and go ahead and pin it and place it. So you see I did Viva Connections, Viva Insights, Viva Learning here, so that when somebody comes into Teams, this is my own demo instance, they're going to be pinned in that same instance for them proactively. Don't need to go anywhere to do anything. They're just going to have it here, one-stop shop for their insights, their learning, and their corporate communications. So that's it for me. I have to hard stop here. What integrations are available in this platform? i.e. ServiceNow. So which platform are we talking about, Virginia? I'll answer you in text here if you can follow up. Are you talking about Viva platform? Yes, ServiceNow has a web. They have a part for the dashboard now that you can get for connections. They also have, I'll stop sharing so that you can share. There you go. And so we have integration with ServiceNow today. I will say that. I'll cut it there. Devil's in the details. Go. I'll shut up.
Mike, I thought you were just going to keep your deck up and I was going to continue on.
I can do that.
I was just going to take control.
So here we go. And I will reshare.
All right. And so once again, I am Erica Gorman. I am a customer success manager for teams in the health and life sciences organization inside of Microsoft. All right.
I didn't see the ask control, ask again. I'm sorry.
It says waiting for approval.
Oh, there we go. Allow. Done.
Okay. Still not seeing it. No.
I'm seeing your mouse moving all around. You want me to just advance?
Yeah, just advance. It's not letting me advance.
All right. Cancel control. There you go. Oh, we want to get out of there onto your slides.
So I'll just go ahead and start while Mike gets that up and running. So in October of last year, Microsoft acquired Ally.io. The reason, we did a lot of extensive research before doing that. We were actually an Ally customer, and so we were using it internally. But we did go and look in the marketplace across all of the OKR solutions that were available and settled on Ally. Ally was founded in 2018 and it's been in use ever since. They have over 1,000 customers in 80 different countries. And we did a lot of due diligence and chose this because of their quick time to value and ROI. So as Mike said, Ally is going to be rebranded Viva Goals and will become part of the suite. Next slide. Next slide. All right. See, I'm glad I'm not the only one that was having trouble advancing slides, huh? Okay.
When I opened this, these were the only two Ally slides on mine.
Oh, all right. Did you give me a different? Hold on. I'll go ahead and open the one that you sent me then.
So I'll stop presenting.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the same deck. Hold on. There's a lot of slides in this deck. I'm just scrolling, trying to get to the right one before I start presenting. There we go. Okay. All right. I'm at 182. All right. Sorry for the delay. And while that comes up, let me talk a little bit about Ally and what OKRs are. So, sorry. In this hybrid work world, employees are feeling more and more disconnected and separate from their company and what's actually going on, and how does the work that they're doing on a day-to-day basis really impact the company and the overall success of the organization that they're working for. And so what Ally brings to that is OKRs, or objectives and key results, and helps everyone from the highest level in the organization all the way down to the workers to see how the work that they're doing is impacting their organization and their company's mission. So Viva Goals is incorporated into the Viva framework and will live right inside of the way that you do work on a day-to-day basis inside of teams to allow you to work on seeing how your goals and your objectives play a role in contributing to your company. So when we look at it, and you'll see when you're looking at the slide, so many of the common themes to Viva, the well-being and engagement, right, with the Viva Insights, the growth and learning development with the Viva Learning, the culture and communication and the knowledge and expertise, that Ally was the perfect fit for our Viva suite. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about OKRs, because for some of us, OKRs might be new. Objectives and key results might be a new way of thinking about things. We look at them as, and you may be familiar with the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So these objectives and key results are all about what your objective is, what you as a company, an organization, a department, or an individual will be doing, and how do you measure that? So in our example here, it may be to increase revenue or to decrease spending. It may be to improve customer retention or improve customer satisfaction. Those are some of the objectives, right? And then they need to be measurable by given numbers or percentages. So when we look at that, there's 5 core superpowers of OKRs that we look at: alignment, focus, transparency, and tracking. And we recommend having between 3 and 5 OKRs per person per quarter, per team per quarter, per organization, and per company. And when you start at the top level with the senior level management setting their goals and alignments and work down the organization, people can see how their specific objectives tie back to the company. When you take a look at a study that MIT did that says really only 10% of employees understand how the work they're doing on a day-to-day basis really impacts their company. There's a lot of research out there that speaks positively to having OKRs in your organization. There was a question before about integration. So a lot of people are already measuring, you're already measuring your sales productivity. You may be measuring your development. And you're probably doing it today in one of, oops, sorry, wrong slide. In one of these tools, sorry. Oops. Okay. Ah, slide's gone. All right. So let me talk a little bit about some of the integrations that we do with Viva Goals. Uh, Today, you might be using Excel or Smartsheets. You might be using Jira. Any one of those tools, you might be already measuring your goals in, and Viva Goals will integrate with that and align to those. So you can pull those goals right in to the way you're doing business today. These are some of the customers that are currently using the tool, including Microsoft. We're using it internally ourselves. Moving on. So taking a look at what this looks like currently, we don't have for you a demonstration today of it integrated, although this works currently as a standalone. So the OKRs that you see are set up in a dashboard starting at the C level, and you're able to actually dig right into the goals, seeing and drilling down into each specific one of them to see how they measure up and how they contribute to the overall. And you continue this drilling down down to the deepest level. So you can see all the way from the people that are actually doing the work up through the C level, how your work is contributing to the overall success of your company. Ally does work inside of Teams today. And some of the things that you can do inside of Teams is get notifications, check in on your objectives and your key results, get reminders. You can see dashboards of your overall department or organization. And taking a look at them in a graphical representation so that you can easily know where you need to focus, where you're falling short, and where you are achieving and overachieving. And finally, with 3 minutes left, we'll try and leave some time for questions and answers, just a little bit of what some of our customers are saying about the product. And so with that, I'm going to open it up to questions about any of the Viva modules. Feel free to come off mute or raise your hand.
As we're waiting to see if any questions come in, I am posting just so you see it. This is the site I mentioned, aka.ms. I'm retyping the full blog. The recording will be there, as well as the PDF. The end of the PDF, or excuse me, the end of the deck itself. I just want to show you. I'll pull that over so that you can see. At the very end, one of the things here for next steps, set up connections, Viva Learning and Viva Insights. This takes you to the step-by-step directions. I will be giving and uploading some videos this next week on doing just that, but I wanted to make it easy for you to get to that, and that will be posted up on our blog as a part of this. So putting the piece in here.
And if you have questions about anything that you've seen today, you want more in depth, reach out to your client executive or any one of your Microsoft Teams members, and they can help you get the information that you need.
You nailed it, Erica. Thanks so much, Michael and Erica. Phenomenal presentation per usual. Thanks everyone for attending. And as was mentioned, the session was recorded, so we'll be sending this out after the session wraps, feel free to reach out to me or any member of your account team if you have any subsequent questions. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day.